Good morning. Good morning. All right. We are going live. As you get here, make sure that you say hello and let me know that you're here. All right. Over here, let's do this. Oh, no. I need to do that on my phone. Good morning. Good morning. Let me pull this up on my phone so I can see what's happening. Good morning. Good morning. There we go. All right. So I'll have to be honest. Today I am feeling a little stuff in my throat. And for those that are not aware, about an hour south of me, there was a big chemical fire. And so the air quality is not great. Good morning, Wendy. How are you this morning? Are you still out on the 7 Seas? I think you're still on your cruise, right? Or are you home? But anyway, I wasn't thinking about it yesterday, and it was such a beautiful day that I went and sat outside in between clients and did a meditation outside, and I'm feeling it today. And then I looked earlier and it was talking about the air quality being so bad because of that fire. On the ocean, home on Sunday. All right. So you just have to bear with me today, having to clear my throat. And if I have to cough, I promise I'll mute myself for a moment. But, you don't even think it's amazing that it's an hour from me south that this has all happened. But you don't even realize how much the wind and the atmosphere sends the stuff out. And it's not like it's encapsulated in your one area. And that's the thing that I know I digress here, but a lot of people do the mosquito treatments, right, for their yards. And the thing is that I don't do those. Even I did at one point, and I did the more natural one so that it wasn't toxic chemicals. But then the more I thought about it, the thought was, well, that's probably still toxic chemicals, even though they're more natural. So I quit doing it. But when someone in your neighborhood does it, it doesn't stay in their little yard. It still permeates around. And so, and it's like, there's a book that I read. Oh, was it Yellow Dirt? I don't remember the name of it, but if anybody's interested, I'll look it up. But it was about the organic farming and how this one person was having to do so much to ensure that the fields close to them weren't using this toxic chemicals, because the air would move it around to where they were, and then they could not sell their things as organic because the wind had picked up those chemicals and took them to them. So, but that's nothing to do with this morning. It's just in my thoughts. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get the affirmation. Give me a second as I do this. And I think, Wendy, as long as I don't sit outside today, because I think the air quality is worse today, then I should be okay. All right, so our affirmation for today is, I honor and trust myself by keeping my word, knowing that each promise I keep strengthens my confidence and self-respect. And see, in this context, I am really more concerned about the word that you you keep to yourself than I am about anything that happens externally, right? Because we've talked about this before, that we're teaching our subconscious mind all the time to what to pay attention to. And so when we keep our word to ourselves, then our subconscious mind begins to believe the things that we say and support it. And so in one way, it's like you and I've talked about this many times, but it's been a bit. But when you go to bed at night and you say, "Oh, tomorrow morning I'm going to get up and I'm going to go for a walk." And you go ahead and you lay your clothes out, you get them all ready and everything. And then when you wake up in the morning, your clock goes off, you know you're supposed to get up and go for a walk, but it's like all of a sudden it's like, oh, I didn't get enough sleep, I'm too tired. And we can find a litany of reasons why we don't want to do the thing we said we were going to do. But what I want you to understand is that when you don't get up and go ahead and go out for your walk, your subconscious mind is logging that in as, I know she said that, she didn't mean it, so we'll put that in our data bank. So the next time we'll know it's not going to happen either, right? However, even if you feel tired and you don't want to do your walk, the thing that would be so beneficial to yourself is to go ahead and get up, put on those clothes. And I don't care if you only walk out the door and walk down the driveway and then come back. You've actually put on those clothes and you've done the process, you've gone for a walk. Doesn't matter how far it was, right? And so then your subconscious mind logs that in as, well, she said she was going to go for a walk. And she did. So the next time you say you're going to go for your walk when you go to bed, and then in the morning when you wake up, your subconscious mind is more than likely going to keep reminding you that you feel better when you go for a walk. You think about things when you go for a walk. You should get up and go for your walk. It's going to be talking you into not laying there and getting up and going for the walk. Now, the opposite is also true. If you don't go for your walk, if you just stay in the bed and you just stay there, the next time you tell yourself, this time is different, I'm going, it's going to say, last time she didn't do it. So I'm just going to keep reminding her how good it feels to stay in the bed. And so it's supporting whatever decision you made. I'm saying to make decisions, tell yourself the things that you will actually follow through with. So I would say if you haven't been walking at all and this is a new goal, then you set a goal of, tomorrow I'm going to put on my clothes to go for a walk and I'm going to go outside and let's just see how far I go. You're not making a commitment to how far. You're just exercising the muscle of doing it, right? And that goes with everything, whether you say that you're going to go out and meet people, and then you start getting a little, I don't really feel like doing it. At least go do something and then come back, right? And so it's making sure that the things that you say to yourself, that you commit to them and you do them, at least the action, right? And you're beginning to train your subconscious mind to support you in that, because your subconscious mind can be your best cheerleader if you allow it to. Does that make sense? And the thing too is, like I said, I was more thinking along the lines of keeping your word to yourself and not what you say to other people, because it's kind of like, if you're keeping your word to other people, that's amazing. That's great, right? However, what you're doing in here is even more important than anything else. And so one of my favorite books, and I talk about it all the time, is by Michael Singer, and it is The Untethered Soul. And in there, he talks so much about our internal voice. Good morning, Lynn. The voice and the things that we say to ourselves all the time. And we can find ourselves really giving ourselves a hard time, and we'll talk to ourselves in a way that we would not even tolerate a friend talking to us that way. And so I want you to be more aware of this internal dialogue. Honor and trust yourself by keeping your word to you, knowing that each promise strengthens your confidence and your self-respect. Each promise strengthens your subconscious mind's resolve to support you and encourage you in a totally different way. Wouldn't it be cool if you had been training your subconscious mind about how well you keep your word to yourself, and then this day comes where you said, oh, tomorrow I am going to get up and I'm going to go and do my walk in the morning, because I know how good it makes me feel. I know how many new thoughts come to me and how much confidence I gain by just doing it, right? And then when you wake up in the morning, it's like, oh, I don't know. And your subconscious mind just starts rallying around you. Come on, you know it. You've had enough sleep. Get up. You're going to feel better. And it's not going to let you lay there. It's going to continuously encourage you to get up and do something. And so I, for one, love it when my subconscious mind isn't encouraging me to do something to move me forward instead of discouraging me from making a move, because it's going to do one or the other. And so we want to make sure that we're training it, that we do keep our word to ourselves, and we honor and trust ourselves to keep our word to ourselves. So how are you this morning, Lynn? All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and share the journal prompt. I know you're at work, Lynn, so if you can't answer, no worries. At least if I remember right, you're at work. All right, so our journal prompt for today is, what does it look like for you to consistently keep your word to yourself? And how will following through on your promises change the way you show up for yourself every single day? Now, I just talked a little bit about how that shows up, right? So one of the things too, if you've got a business that you're wanting to work on, then it is giving yourself little micro tasks that you promise yourself you're going to do. So it's not like you start this business and you say, okay, today I'm going to spend 3 hours on the computer. I'm going to do this. No, remember, it's a 1% change every day that creates this exponential growth, right? And so give yourself micro tasks, little small things that you can promise yourself to do, and you know you're going to do it. Your subconscious mind will be on board and actually talk you into doing it. What is that task, right? And so for me, it's like today, I'm still in the Find Your Voice challenge. And so today, in between clients, my micro task is to continue doing my dares, right? I'm doing well. Had an x-ray last night to make sure my foot isn't broken. Good news, no break. Whoa, beautiful, beautiful. I love that. So I hope it's feeling better. And I'm really excited that it's not broken. The thing is, sometimes, you know, with is it just a sprain? And just making sure that you're being kind to it, so that you're not overexerting or doing things when you shouldn't be. And I can be the worst one for doing that kind of thing sometimes. So just give it some love. That's what it needs. It needs some love. And so, what is it about this affirmation that really lights you up? Is it just a reminder? Is it something that you didn't remember? Is it something that you've tried and it really worked well? What's going on for that? I'd love to know. And for me, it's like there are so many times I used to all the time make promises that I knew I was not going to keep. Promises to me that I knew I wasn't going to keep. But it felt like that's what I was supposed to do. I was supposed to be all in, right? And I'll have to share, I was vegan for a very long time. And one of the things that I had certain people that, because in the beginning I was a health coach, right? Yes, I have to stay off it, which is hard to do. Yeah, I feel you. Just whenever you get the opportunity, close your eyes and just send so much love and energy to that part of the body and just breathe into it. You're going to be surprised at how much that will reduce the inflammation, and just loving on that part in your mind or touching it with your hands and sending all that energy. Remember when we've done this where we create all the energy around us? Utilize that. Create some of this energy and then just put that on your ankle. And then think about the love that you have for that body part and how excited you are as it's getting better and better. And I promise the inflammation will go down a little faster that way than if you just stay off of it. Just my little tidbit there. Now I forgot what I was saying. What was it? How I wasn't keeping my word to myself. What the heck was I saying? Let me have a sip of my coffee. Maybe I'll remember. Let's see what's happening over here. Doggone it. What was I saying? The micro things, right? I don't know. Maybe I said something after that. I don't remember. But anyway, it'll come to me about midnight, That's how things happen. Since I don't have any notes, I don't have anything written down. There's nothing I can refer back to. So the thing is that when we're making micro things, so for me, it is, as I'm thinking about doing these dares in the group, in the Find Your Voice challenge, it's getting into where I'm just going to relax and allow, right? So when I get on to making the post or making a live video and everything, I'm just telling myself I'm going to do this, but I'm not saying how long it's going to take. I'm not saying when I'm going to do it. I just know it's sometime today. And so I'm allowing it to be whatever it needs to be, right? And sometimes we end up being so hard on ourselves because we think we're supposed to be going about the task as other people have said we're supposed to go about our task. And if you watch some business people, I can say for myself, some of them make me feel like I am definitely not adequate enough because I don't go 24/7, although some people think I do, but I don't. But the thing is that I want, or I choose to honor my internal clock, my internal integrity, and keep my word to myself so that I'm constantly reminding myself when I say I'm going to do something, I'll stop myself sometimes and say, okay, is that really what you're going to do? And how can I support myself in that, right? So, what does it look like for you to consistently keep your word to yourself? One of the things that will look like is that your subconscious mind will start encouraging you to do the thing you said you were going to do, and instead of discouraging you. And the amount of confidence that you gain by keeping your word to yourself. And it's like it's that muscle that you exercise. So each time you do it, you get this internal belief of who you are, and it can change everything. So give yourself the grace to keep your word to yourself, right? And how will following through on your promises change the way you show up for yourself every single day? Oh my gosh, it will change it exponentially if you allow it to, right? So I'm going to go back to the affirmation, and I honor and trust myself by keeping my word to myself, right? Knowing that each promise I keep strengthens my confidence and my self-respect. So, oof. So the thing that I want you to make sure that you have written on your affirmation is I honor and trust myself by keeping my word to myself, right? And so put that on your index card, your sticky notes, the screensaver on your phone, put it on a mirror with your chalk marker, put it on a piece of paper and stick it somewhere. Just be reminded today. So anytime today that you catch yourself saying you're going to do something, stop for just a moment and think, is that really what I want to do today? Am I willing to make that effort? And if you're not, take it off the table, because we want to exercise that part of us that is keeping your word to yourself. So if you know in your heart that you're not going to do it, stop and find something that you will do, and then do that. Now, it doesn't mean that the other thing will not even happen. It just means you haven't promised yourself to do that. And then what may happen as you are keeping your word to yourself, if you changed what you said you were going to do, and so maybe instead of saying, I'm going to spend an hour working on this, you can say, I'm going to work on this sometime today. Like I said with my dares, right? I didn't give it a time frame or anything like that. So it doesn't matter what time I stop and do that. It's keeping my word to myself. Does that make sense? And then what will happen a lot of times as you do that, the other things that you thought about promising yourself you would do that you chose not to promise, you may get this intuitive hit that right now, this is something that you want to do. So even though you changed your view and your promise, the other thing may become an intuitive thing to do at some time during the day. And so the more you're practicing this and you're honoring your word to yourself, the more your intuition and your subconscious mind is going to say, you know, that thing you almost said you were going to do, I think it would work right now. And you just do it. And so this is such an honorable way to utilize your internal dialogue for your benefit, right? And then when we get to the journal prompt, what does it look like for you to consistently keep your word to yourself? Wow, what does that look like? It looks like happiness. It looks like joy. It looks like a person that has confidence and capabilities of doing so much, right? And then how will following through on your promises change the way you show up for yourself every single day? Now, the thing that I like to tell everybody is to get your journal out, get your notebook out, put the date, the affirmation, and the journal prompt, and then take some time in silence to just connect with this inner voice, this inner knowing, this intuition, this guidance, the God voice, right? To just connect with it. And then once you're quieted the mind and you're connected, then just brain dump everything that flows through you, right? Without judgment, without critiquing at all. Just allowing whatever comes up to be poured onto the paper. And then after that, you can look at it and say, ooh, if I followed through on each one of these things that I said I wanted to do, whew, what would that look like? How would my life feel if I was constantly keeping my word to myself? And my subconscious mind was my biggest cheerleader, encouraging me every single day. How would my life change? How would your life change? Just imagine. You're not looking for outside validation. You're getting it from in here. How will that change how you show up? I don't know. That just feels so good to me. And I'll be honest. There have been many times in my life that I made promises I knew in the moment I would never keep them, and I made them anyway. And then my subconscious mind was constantly reminding me about how I don't finish things. It was constantly reminding me, don't even bother. You know, you've lost weight a million times and you always gain it back. So don't even worry about it. Just eat. There was so many things that it was continuously telling me because I had taught it that that was my life. That was who I was. But see, we can make a choice to change that life and who we are. And this is one of the main things is our internal dialogue, what we say to ourselves and how we follow up on what we say to ourselves. So today, and as long as you can, play with this. When I keep my word to myself, what changes? So I would love to hear from you as you go through your day and you make sure that the things that you say to yourself, that you keep those promises. How does that feel in the moment? And oh my gosh, for me, it feels delicious. To say I'm going to do something and then follow through, and actually do it with joy. It's not like I'm doing it because I have to. No, because I pick and choose. I get to choose who I am and who I want to be. And so do you. So start with this. And again, this affirmation, wiggling my eyebrows there. I honor and trust myself by keeping my word to me, knowing that each promise I keep strengthens my confidence and self-respect. Right? And then we journal. What does it look like for you to consistently keep your word to yourself? Not only what does it look like, what does it feel like? And how will following through on your promises change the way you show up for yourself every single day? You would be shocked to see the difference. And that's why I love doing these affirmations and journal prompts in a notebook with the date, because all the things that you write down today come back in a month, come back in 6 months, 3 months, whatever it may be, and look and see what you felt about this process. And then you're going to be able to see how much you've grown through doing this. So, yesterday we talked about playing a game. Well, let's play it a little bit more. Let's let our game today be thinking your thoughts and making sure that you only promise to do the things that you will do, and just see how that transpires over time. It's going to be amazing, I promise you, because I know for me, it has been life-changing to notice when I was saying things that I knew I wasn't really going to do. I knew in the moment I said that I wasn't going to follow through, but I hoped. It was like a wish and a prayer, right? So in retrospect, looking back, I should have made that just a little bit smaller. Instead of saying when I haven't walked at all that I'm going to do this marathon, maybe it should be tomorrow I'm going to go out for a little short walk, and I'm going to get acclimated to going for walks. So we make promises that we want, but we also make promises that we know we're going to do. And like I said, doesn't mean when you get out there and you're doing your walk, you don't go further than you had anticipated because it feels good. You don't stop yourself and say, well, I only said I was going to walk to the mailbox, so now I got to go back. No, you let your inner guidance direct you and your subconscious mind to keep you going if that's what's necessary in the moment. All right. So let me look at the time. Well, I'm so glad to have been here with you this morning and shared this little tidbit, because this is something that's extra important to me, because I know the difference it's made in my life, the life of my clients, and how it'll be different for you if you allow it to. All right, so just a quick reminder that tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern is our Stand Up and Stand Out party, and I would love to invite each and every one of you to come. And all you have to do is go into the events section, and it is there in the events section. And so there's a link there that you can just join the Zoom, and we're going to have an amazing time interacting with one another. And if you haven't been to one yet, you need to come, because it is such an amazing process of connecting with others. And there's so many people in this group that are new, and I would love to have each and every one of you show up on the live. Let's see, what does this say? Thank you. It's like giving ourselves permission and reminding us we are in control. Yes, Lynn, beautifully put. I love that. I love that. Thank you for rephrasing that for me. It's beautiful. So Saturday, 5 p.m. Eastern, be there. You find it in the events section. And then let's see, we've got Dr. Nancy is going to be live on the 14th. And then Ruthie has been rescheduled for the 29th, and all of that is in the event section. But for now, I will see you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern, again with our affirmation and our journal prompt. And then at 5 p.m. Eastern, I will be there, or I'll be here with our stand up and stand out party. And I would love for each of you to be there. All right. So you have an amazing day of keeping your word to yourself. And I promise you, you'll be glad you did. Mwah.